and that's part of this, is to get up here and chat. But this morning did start out with a bang, I felt, with David G. I cried, I'll admit it. It was so amazing, especially at the end when we all vibrated together, and it was so beautiful. And I loved our panel this morning. Again, I cried. You guys were awesome. It was so I'm Loretta Sayers. I'm countdown to 60, and maybe next year I'll be count up from 60. So I'm not sure what to do with that, Fran. Miss Amy.
I was outside of 50 and I turned 60 this year. So.
Oh, great. Yeah, good. So we have an amazing group here, and we don't need to talk about me. Let's talk about them. And we're going to start with Miss Linda Barnaby. She has an amazing story. Survival, I guess, is the best way to put it, and what you've done with yourself. So I'm going to let you speak and tell us all about you.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I want to say how incredibly inspired I am by this group, the Facebook group, and especially the people that I've been meeting here this weekend. It's changed my life. It really has. I'll tell you more about why I think it's so special and fabulous. A little bit about my story. I started life out as a teacher. I taught elementary and I taught gifted children for 6 years. And meanwhile, I was putting my husband through law school, and I was seeing what he was doing, and I was saying, that? That would be a lot more fun, and I could go out to lunch. So I went to law school, and I've been practicing for 30 years, and in my own law firm, and I facilitate adoptions in my law firm. But when I went to law school, I was almost finished. I was 1 semester shy of graduating, and over the summer, I went to a law firm picnic at the main partner's house and went water skiing. And when I got on the boat to go water skiing, I had sort of an out-of-body experience. It was very odd. Didn't know what it meant. But before the day was out, I had been run over by a boat and chewed up by the propeller. So I have a prosthetic leg above the knee. Yep, which is why I'm wearing a long dress. So I had a plan A. My plan A was to be a lawyer and to be a darn good one. And when I had my accident, I had to come up with a plan B. My plan B was do plan A no matter what.
Yes.
So I practiced law in that same law firm for about 3 years, and then decided, you know what, I can be bigger. I want to do my own thing. So I started my own law firm. As I said, I've had my own law practice for many, many years. I'm a mother. I have 2 daughters who I'm very proud of, and I'm a wife, and I'm also a daughter. And so in my household, I have 5 adults living with us at the moment, including my mother, and my 2 daughters come and go. So it's a lot of fun. One of the things that really struck me about this group is when I posted a meme this past Monday. I don't know how many of you saw it, but it was a little girl, a little 2-year-old girl in a black tutu, like this, and the meme said, if it doesn't make you feel fabulous, don't do it, don't wear it, don't buy it, don't eat it, and then somebody in the comments wrote, and don't stay in a relationship with it.
I like that.
But what amazed me is that in 2 days, I had over 1,500 shares of that. Not likes, shares. And to contrast, what was so amazing is that I posted the same day that same meme on my personal profile. I have a pretty good following on my personal profile. Same demographic, 2 shares.
Interesting.
2 shares. And that hasn't risen, I don't think, in the past week. And so this group, if you don't know it already, if you don't feel it in your bones already, this is an amazing, powerful, driven, inspirational group, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. So what I want to say to you today is that don't settle. Don't settle. It's so easy to let you were going to cry, not me. But once we reach this beautiful age of over 50, we come with a lot of baggage. And we've been accumulating this baggage for years. It's other people's expectations, our own expectations of ourselves based on what other people expect of us, which we begin to take on as truism. And naysayers, people who discourage you. And I just want to ask you all to look deeply into yourselves and see if you can be an inspiration to yourself. And by being an inspiration to yourself, you are going to be an inspiration to others, to your children, to your friends, to generations to come, to people who you haven't even met, right, Rebecca? We've all experienced that. And, you know, like David G. was saying, if you raise your own vibration and your own sense of expectation of yourself, the people around you will rise with you. So I encourage you all to seek your own inspiration. And so for me in midlife, my big change recently is that I have decided to retire from the practice of law. I've just entered a year-long learning to become a professional speaker program with the National Speakers Association. And I was so delighted because when I told my husband, he said, "Yes, you should do that." It's about time. So, and I've also set my very first workshop for November 3rd. Wow. So I'm excited so you know the saying, growth ends where your comfort zone is. And so it's important to continue to step out of your comfort zone and continue to grow. And when you rise, all boats rise with you.
My youngest son had a saying about the Plan A too, because he was applying for the Naval Academy, and I said, "Well, what is your Plan B if you're not going to get in?" And he said, "Mom, if you need a Plan B, Plan A wasn't good enough." I like your Plan A. That's great. So thank you so much, Linda. We appreciate that. And Rosie Dalton is our next speaker. I met Rosie through Facebook about a year and a half ago almost, right when I started my blog, and instantly just connected with her and fell in love with her, and then heard her story, and then I loved her more. So we're so excited to have you here, Rosie. So take it away.
So Linda has warned you that I am going to cry. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen right away. So I am a life coach. I'm a retreat facilitator. I work with midlife women, but I also work with people who are grieving. And I do that because I lost my son 14 years ago, and it has defined my life. But it also has brought gifts to me, like huge gifts. And I know my son is rooting for me, and that I intend to live life full out. So you may have seen me dancing last night.
She can dance.
So I intend to grab every moment of joy that I can. And my life is a life of and. So I have learned to weave grief into my life and to find joy and to look for great happiness. And I'm a bit of a late bloomer, but I also feel I'm just getting started, and I'm using everything that has happened to me, as you can, as my own personal feminine rocket fuel. I am so thrilled to be here. I can't believe, like, everyone's stories and listening to the panel before me, I felt so good. And that's another thing that I do. When I feel good, I hold on to it and I animate it within myself. And that's what began to bring me back, because I was decimated. And I couldn't even see myself anymore. It was like I was in a million pieces on the ground. And I rebuilt my life. and I'm at level 61 now. And when, you know, you'll get there. I'm hearing a lot of 50s, and
61 looks good.
Yeah. Those are some good pieces you put back together.
Thank you. And so something that I did that was really important for me, when this first happened, I couldn't find solace anywhere. I would go to compassionate friends and I would feel worse when I left. I was like, I wanted to die when I came in and then I wanted to double die when I left. So I created my own groups. I did that for 6 years, and I did them for parents, and I filled the groups with hope. Now, I'm deeply spiritual. I am definitely not religious. I am now currently following the scent of God consciousness. So the scent of God is a phrase, because I don't want to, you know, it wasn't me. It was either Elizabeth Gilbert or Martha Beck, and Martha Beck, I studied with her to become a life coach. So that's what I do. Does this feel like the scent of God? Does it or doesn't it? It's really easy. And I also do something else. Is this shackles on or shackles off? It's so easy. Whether you know, what you just said about the, you know, the little girl in the tutu, you know, blah, blah, blah. So that's a really easy peasy way to do it. But also, creating your midlife. Don't let anyone outside of you and your soul define it for you. Create it yourself. I give no one my permission, you know, to tell me I'm invisible, to tell me I'm not relevant, to tell me what I can wear, who I can be with, who I can love or not love. No, I'm going to damn well do it myself. I'm going to damn well define it myself. So, I would invite you all to damn well define it for yourself. And I think that's everything.
Rosie, thank you so much. We have another Forever Fierce sister in our group that's not here today, Cindy Scurry, who also lost a son, and today is the 12th anniversary of that.
And her only
So
son.
send her
Only
some
child.
love, her only child, and she is one of the strongest women I've ever had the privilege to meet in my entire life. Just a fabulous, and again, met her through the Forever Fierce group, and she came out to Santa Barbara to see me, and I couldn't believe it, that I felt like I saw my sister for the first time. She's just amazing, so send her some love. So, yeah. With that, we have Patty Talbot. Patty is our next speaker, and I would like you to tell your story.
Okay, well first I'd like to say, I met Rosie yesterday, saw her right before I came in today, and your positive energy, you just glow. I mean, I would have never had this idea that you had such sorrow that led you to become the empowering, beautiful woman that you are. I mean, you were just out there, and I was just like, I felt great walking in here, and I haven't publicly spoken since I was a senior in high school, and I had to do valedictorian speech. So thanks for the inspiration.
You're welcome.
So Catherine, when I spoke to her, actually I know Catherine from her beautiful daughter Maddie and her son. I actually took them on mission trips when they were in high school. And Catherine asked me to speak about entrepreneurship. So it was interesting listening to David G, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about? There's all these amazing women and entrepreneurship. And he said one thing that resonated with me, where attention goes, energy goes. And so as a serial entrepreneur, whether it's a gift or a curse, I've been very blessed in my life to have people support that my drive for energy to bring things that I can't find. The first thing that happened to me was crazy. I was living in Sydney, Australia, and loved it. What's not to love about Sydney, Australia? But Christmas was bah humbug. I'm all about Christmas. I love Christmas. So my friends were all tired of me complaining, bitching about Christmas being so bah humbug in Sydney. So I moved there in 1988. They bought all the floats from World Expo Brisbane, and the big entertainment company over there is called Michael Edgley's. So they had these floats. The floats came to me and they said, we want to do a Christmas parade. You know, would you help us out? So I got to produce the first, what we have here, the Macy's Christmas Parade, the first Christmas parade for Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
And so, but that being said, I had everything that could have gone wrong, went wrong. Don't rain on my parade. On that 2-mile live parade, we just poured. But here was my exit strategy. I said, you know what? If it goes bad, I can always just leave the country. So I always feel like, you know what? It's like, not a plan B, but I always have an exit strategy. So, anyway, so the next, you know, I was raising children, wanted to be with my kids, so I fell in love with import-export. So imported products into Australia, then moved back to America, and was trying to redefine myself after my husband and I, we lost a very successful business, like many did in 2008. And I started bartending, anything to bring passion. I was, you know, doing all the reinventing, rewiring, and being inspired. And I had created my own perfume oil for myself 15 years ago. And my kids all played ice hockey, and so for 12 years, people would literally chase me down in hockey rinks, grocery stores, parking lots, and go, it's you, what are you wearing? So, again, I was trying to, you know, keep the family together, you know, keep the house, all that kind of crazy negative energy. When I had a little bit of my perfume oil left, I found it. It was a secret source. I went to the grocery store, and this woman in her Lululemon chased me down in the parking lot, and she goes, I am stalking you. What are you wearing? And I said, it's me. I don't. It's my own personal scent. But that was the light bulb, so to say, the proverbial light bulb. And I'm like, you know what? This makes me feel so good. It's a sense that a lot of us don't really think about. You know, we have our vision, we have our, you know, hearing, we have our taste, we love our wines. But the sense of smell, and I realized, because I love science, how that can actually transport you. It can take you to a different place. So I delved into this sense of smell, and I created Sayor perfume. I'm Patty O'Reilly. We've got Rosie, I've got Patty. So I've trademarked lots of different products in my entrepreneurial past. So I decided to go back to my roots. So I looked up the power of Google, whoever was talking about that. So, which is much better than the U.S. Patent Trademark Database. So trademark something, do Google. So I looked up the Gaelic word to be free, because that's how my perfume made me feel. And the Gaelic word was Sayor, S-A-O-R. So you all got a little Sayor packet. So anyway, you can have some on. So what I did for 3 years, I did shows and e-commerce and have customers in 40 states, and I get the emails from them. And I guess when I hear, and giving, and like was mentioned, it's like where attention goes, energy goes. I get the energy from the feedback of the customers, and I watch their faces, and if it's that 16 seconds, like David G said, if it's that's what my 16 seconds is. And when my daughter, who's a freshman in college, and she said, Mom, the only thing that got me through finals was Sayor. You know, or a friend of mine, her son, young age, had a heart attack at 20, and Sally sent me a text from New Orleans. Sally Schneider, you might know her. Okay. Sally sent me a text. She goes, we're all crying, you know, hoping her son's okay. He was found a couple days later. He's okay. But she's like, Patty, I'm packing my bag. And I said to tell you, I got my Sayor in here. Thank you, because it's like what's helping me get through, you know. So it's all the little things, you know. What? Who would have known? I never would have known that was perfume that would be in my life. But now I've delved into it, and I'm big about giving back. So it was again mentioned today the word opportunity. You know, so I am very philanthropic. I love giving back. You know, taught Sunday school for 13 years, took kids on mission trips. My husband says all my for-profit companies should actually be non-profit companies. But with you all here, I just want to share, so Sayor's nonprofit that we support is Opportunity International. And it's really what we're all talking about here. Opportunity International supports microfinance loans for basically women in developing countries, because it's the women who are the ones, if they can get the family unit solidified, it spills over into the community, and then the community grows and prospers. So if you ever have a chance to look up opportunityinternational.org, it's a great, and I think it kind of embodies this group of women. So thank you all for sharing with me and inspiring and wiring me with all your lovely stories. Thank you, Catherine.
It was wonderful. Thank you so much, Patty. Really great to hear.
Well, thank you all for, because I had no idea what I was going to say, so thank you, David.
16 seconds. And so now we have Miss Tamara Betzel. And I don't know a whole lot about you besides the amazing lives that you do every once in a while that capture all of us. So I'd like you to tell your story.
Okay. Hi everybody, I am Tamara Batts. I'm TV Style, works on all social media platforms. Okay, so I talk about style, I talk about being single in these mean streets. I don't know how many single women are here, but you know, okay. I try and keep it very honest and fresh. I'm about not stereotypes. Kicking down doors. I want to dress the way I want to dress. I tend to be a little trendy, a little edgy, but that doesn't mean that's for everybody. So I celebrate the woman that has all different types of style. You can have the classic style, you can have the boho style. I'm a personal stylist as well. And so I like to celebrate that woman over 40 because I feel passionate about it. I feel like retail is ignoring us, and I want to make a difference with that, and we need to come together. And so I started Googling on Facebook, 40 plus groups, because I want to, you know, be in that tribe, right? Create a tribe, but I got to start first with finding the women. Of course, what did I find? Catherine. The word fierce, as we know, that's overused sometimes, because truly a lot of people are using fierce and not fierce at all. But you I mean, look at the panel. I'm like, dang, I'm talking intimidation. This is like really pressure here, but I'm so passionate and was so pleased when Catherine decided to include me. I'm kind of a baby blogger. I started about 52 blogging. And I have grown. YouTube is my friend. I know you guys were talking about Google, but I've learned so much through that darn YouTube. I learned about pixels and about keywords and about URLs and about links. Okay, somebody's like, you can appreciate what I'm talking about, right? All that sort of stuff. And some days I wanted to throw that laptop across the room. It's so frustrating, but here in the last couple of years, I've kind of picked up traction by, I think, being authentic. I mean, it's always about showing your passion and being true to it and saying there's going to be rough days. There's going to be days you look in the mirror and you're like, damn. And there's going to be days you're like, I'm looking good that day. those days like that, and I think women can resonate with that. I'm all about the 50, the 60 plus woman being who they truly are. I think sometimes you have stifled yourself because you have had to be mothers, you've had to be wives, you've had to, you know, be the corporate world. And then when you get to this age, you're like, damn, I can be free. I can be who I want to be. I can be expressive, you know, and that's what fashion and style is all about. It's self-expression. It's not about labels. I'm not whatsoever a label stylist or blogger. If you look at my blog, then you're going to see styles are under $100. That's just me. I like finding, that's a challenge, a sale. I mean, something about my heart that's good when I see sale signs. You know what I'm saying? I love that woman to know that it's not about expense. It's about you tuning into who you are, what you want to create, and doing it. My backstory is I grew up in Kansas, a small town. And there weren't a lot of people that looked like me. I was an awkward looking girl. I was 5'10", bad skin, braces on her teeth, massive teasing. They call it bullying now. Yeah, a lot of bullying. And there were times when I didn't really want to be here because of all that bullying. I couldn't find a place to fit in. And so I would be in my room and I would pick up magazines, 17 magazines. Anybody know about 17 magazines? Right? Okay, right. What are you doing about 17 magazines? Oh, the reason. I get it, never mind.
My wife tells me to read them so I do.
So I started reading 17. I would watch the fashion shows. And I was just intrigued. My mother had impeccable taste, but she was never a snob. you know some people that, you know, have really very stylish, but they're kind of like, oh, I would never wear that. You know, that sort of thing. My mother was not that. She just loved clothes and combinations. So I gathered all those things and I said, you know what? I'm going to create my own style. I'm going to reinvent myself. And I'm going to go back and show those people, and I did. So it's about rewiring. It's about a mentality. It's about those self-talks. How powerful. Somebody else mentioned about self-talk in this panel. So powerful. I've started to train my mind when those negative thoughts come in. It's a no. Don't go there. And you can literally switch your mind. It's all about what you really desire. You can reinvent yourself at any time. I'm gathering a little steam with my blog. I've been featured on a couple of things. I recently signed a model contract as a 40-plus woman. This is about representing that woman that is mature. I don't like midlife too much. I like mid-chapter. Because we are writing the next chapter in our book. And as we all sit here, we all have a story. And so I want us to be mindful of the story, the good, the bad, the ugly, and to, you know, kick down some doors. You don't have to settle for things. And you can create the life that you want. It sounds almost contrite to say that, but it really is true. And being around a tribe of women like this makes it feel tangible, touchable, doable. So be careful who you hang around with. Debbie Downers have got to go. Find women that are exceeding you. That's real important. I mean, if you're the smartest person in the room, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Because I'm trying to expand myself, and that's why I have aligned myself with Forever Fish. You guys are challenging me. You guys are pushing me, and I want to give back and reciprocate. And I do appreciate, Catherine, the opportunity to be here. I know probably a lot of people, like you said, don't know a lot about me, but on videos, I am who I am. Who you see here is who you're going to see in social media as well. So again, I thank you guys. Challenge yourself, break down some doors, be you, and be great.
You are so much fun to watch, I have to say. You're very lively. I feel energy every single time I see you on your YouTube or on live. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Kat Kalukiu. So I met you the same time I met Rosie.
Yeah.
On Facebook a few years, or about a year and a half ago. And I didn't know at the time that you were in New Zealand. I thought you were just right here because you were just so active in your rocking midlife world, and I was surprised that you decided to mortgage the bank and come and see us here. Very glad you did. Thank you so much. But I want you to tell your story.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's just such a privilege to be here, and I came prepared. I got my tissue. Because I'm feeling a little bit today, a little overwhelmed. Just the caliber of women is just everything that I had really hoped for. It was worth the mortgage. Okay, pull it together. All right, my story. So I'll start with, we emigrated from Australia, so I'm originally Australian. That's why a lot of people are having a hard time placing my accent, because it is a hybrid between Australia and New Zealand. And we emigrated when I was 34. Previous to 34, I had done a music degree at the Conservatorium of Music, which is like your Juilliard's here. It's like the main place in Australia. I'd taught in schools, I had lectured in universities. I had started a training college, done feasibility studies, hired the lecturers, lectured, ran bands, did recording sessions, did albums, performed, and had a burnout by the age of 32. Serious, okay? Because I did all this with Littlies as well. So I arrived in New Zealand at 34 with an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and my husband, no family, everyone's back home in Australia. A real shell, just exhausted and burnt out from all this doing, and trying to always make this self-imposed grade that I had on myself, because it's crazy. I had a lovely upbringing, but always was this undergirded, you're not good enough thing that constantly played in my head and was reinforced at times, like, you know, schoolyard. I had the frizzy hair teasing too, because I have curly hair, so all of that stuff and things that were told to me while learning to be a musician. Anyhow, so I arrive in New Zealand. So there's no one around to look after children or to help me. So my husband eventually found a job that took him travelling. So I became uber mum, you know, the ultimate mum who just threw herself into being the doormat and letting the kids, you know, well, I was trying to provide everything for the kids, you know, because they didn't have family around. So everything was about making sure that they were settled, they made friends, they acclimatised. You know, it was pretty, it was interesting times for them. I mean, Australia and New Zealand are close geographically and very close in so many ways, but very far apart culturally. So my children were learning how to count in Te Reo Māori and things like that in school, and you know, and because they had Aussie accents, they were being teased like crazy. And come rugby season, my God, it was on for young. So yeah, there was so much learning. In fact, I'm really remiss. I should have started by greeting you all properly. Sorry, kia ora. You all know what kia ora is. It's hello and welcome in Te Reo Māori. Okay, so kia ora, that's what you say to people. And for my old country, as you would know, g'day. Anyhow, so I threw myself into looking after the children, and both of my kids got involved in sports. They were into music as well, but they particularly got involved in sports. And are there any sports mums here? Anyone has done? Okay, cool. You feel my, yeah. But you would know, being a professional sports person yourself. So the better a child gets at sport, what happens? More training. Yeah, more hours. So my job became driver, because of course their trainings were all over Auckland. So we became really great at pick up the kid, they'd do homework, they'd get changed, they'd eat afternoon snack, all in the back of the car while you sat in the traffic for the next hour and a half getting them to different things. So it got to the point when my children my son hit high school, the oldest one, and he was struggling with trying to juggle sport and his schooling, and also I was watching him spiral emotionally. And New Zealand has the highest rate per capita in suicide in the Western world. We have twice the rate of the United States per capita. So when you see your teenage son starting to, you sit up and take notice, or your kid's going to be a statistic. It's a very, very, very real thing in New Zealand. Yeah, I'm going. Is this going out?
Yes.
This is?
You want me to turn it off?
Yes, please. Just for 30 seconds. Just for 30 seconds. So I just want to, I don't even know where I'm going here, but I'm going to. Because I don't know if any of you mums have ever sat in a doctor's room with your child while he's telling the doctor how he was planning to top himself. Have any of you had that experience?